All right, Chad back with Kinetics and another at-home or travel workout. We'll go through our prep, sweat, and breathe portion today, highlighting each of the movements, ways that you can adjust that, and ways that you can, if you have access to equipment, you can implement that, you can add it in. If you don't need it, right? So let's get started. Our prep portion, 3 to 4 sets, and the first movement's gonna be a 1-minute multi-direction low crab walk. After that minute, you'll have 6 to 8 reps per side of a crab thoracic reach. And then lastly, we'll have 10 to 12 repetitions of a tall plank shoulder tap. So let's take a look at those. First, my crab walk. Okay, the low position just refers to my hips. So my hips are down versus bridged, right? So my hips are gonna be down and I'm just moving. Multi-direction means I'm going side to side, maybe going backwards, right? Trying to work to step in opposition, meaning if my right hand is moving, my left foot is moving, okay? So you got a minute there. Depending on the space you have, travel forward, backward, side to side, see if you can go in a little circle or figure 8. Once you get that minute done, we're gonna stay in that crab position, okay, hips down. And I'm just gonna lift one arm up. So now I have one hand on the floor and 2 feet. From there, I'm going to bridge my hips up and reach into an overhead position, come back down, that's a rep. Squeeze my butt, reach, come back down. I'm going 6 to 8 per side of that crab thoracic reach, okay? Again, we're reaching straight overhead. Once we're done there, 10 to 12 repetitions of a tall plank shoulder tap. So getting yourself set up in that tall plank, and we're reaching to the opposite shoulder, okay? A little bit of shift, side to side is okay, but we don't want to have any big rotation of the hips or pushing our butt way up in the air in order to make that a little bit easier, okay? Keep your shoulders stacked over your elbows, elbows stacked over your wrists, and we're just gonna brace hard through our belly, reach up with control, and touch that opposite shoulder, okay? 10 to 12 reps there. Again, 3 to 4 sets here. A lot of these ranges are given based on you being able to decide how much time you have to commit. From that point, we'll move on to our sweat. 16 to 20 minute EMOM. So make sure if you have to adjust this, if you do adjust this up or even down, if you drop it down to 12 minutes, it needs to be in 4-minute increments because there's 4 movements here. So each minute we will start a different movement. Whatever time is remaining, you rest before you go on to the next piece. So what we have today is actually coupling 3 movements for upper body pushing for the first minute, being a narrow push-up, a regular push-up, and a wide push-up. 4 to 6 reps of each. After that, you'll go to a lower body pulling movement or focus. So we have box hamstring curls, followed by sumo box squats, followed by sumo hinge jumps. 6 to 8 reps for all of those. Our third minute will be 6 to 8 reps of tall plank to elbow, then alternating side planks, then a plank body saw. So within each minute, there's a series of 3 movements you're gonna be doing, and there's a rep range for each of those movements, okay? The 4th minute here, last movement, is going to be 30 seconds of lateral hops, okay? And we'll look at each one of these things right now. So our push-up focus, we're gonna go from narrow to regular to wide hand placement, okay? So I'm gonna start, I'll get my 4, widen my hands, get my 4 there, widen my hands again, get my 4 there. Now, making sure that all the rules for push-ups stay in place for all 3 of these. So we're rigid through our belly, okay, like a traveling plank, up and down. If you need to elevate your hands, same rules apply, okay? Elevate those hands, and we're still moving in a nice, solid plank position, okay? If you can't elevate your hands and you need to go from a kneeling position, we don't love that option, but it's fine. We'll make do with it. Just make sure that you squeeze your butt, okay, so that we end up in a nice traveling plank position from the knee to the shoulders, right? Versus when I press up and I'm kind of breaking at the hips. And we don't want that second option. So again, 4 to 6 reps for each of those movements. If push-ups are really difficult for you, even with your hands elevated, by all means, maybe drop it down to 3 reps per position, right? You want to make sure that you have a little bit of rest at the end of each of these cycles, right? At least 15, 20 seconds, possibly more for some of you. Okay? You can certainly add a weight vest or bands, band tension to this if you would like. But we'll move on and we'll have our box hamstring curls next, followed by sumo box squat, and then lastly a jump hinge. I'm sorry, a sumo jump hinge. So, box hamstring, I need a bench or a chair or something to elevate my feet. From here, I'm gonna drive my heels down, I'm braced through my belly, and I'm lifting, elevating those hips. Okay? 6 to 8 reps there. We'll come up, and we'll go into our sumo box squat. Nice wide stance with our feet. Toes are pointed out, hinging at the hip. So notice I let my chest drop. Shins remain vertical in the bottom of this squat. Okay, we don't want a lot of knee flexion here. And we're back up. Pushing the hips back. Squeeze your butt. Drive through the heels. Okay, we want that nice hinge position to start, right? Not straight down, just touching your butt to a high box, right? Push your hips back, and then let those knees bend. Okay, that is our sumo box squat. Once we finish those, 6 to 8 reps of our sumo hinge jump. So similar to what a squat jump would be, we're just hinging versus squatting. My feet are wide, toes pointed slightly out. I'm going to hinge back. As I come up, I'm going to extend my hips. Okay, hard glute contraction here. I like to have the hands out as a counterbalance. Okay, we want that reaching of the hips into a hinge position and returning to just a neutral standing position. 6 to 8 reps there as well. As we move on, we're going to go to tall plank to our elbows. So starting my tall plank, lowering down, coming back up, lowering down on the other side, coming back up. Okay, alternate which arm goes down first. We got 6 to 8 reps there. After that, we're going to go right into an alternating side plank. So for my alternating side plank, I'm going to start on one side. On my forearm, braced through my belly, hips are pushed up towards the ceiling, and I'm just going to reach through, replace one arm with the other, roll into that other side plank, reach through, replace one arm with the other, roll into that side plank, right? We're going to continue to roll back and forth between those two positions. Once you've gotten 6 to 8 total reps, you're going to move on to our plank body saw. So we're going to be back in that elbow plank position. And from here, I'm just going to move through my ankles back and forth, sliding back and forth from the balls of my feet up to being kind of on top of my toes. Nice, straight, rigid body line, just traveling back and forth. 6 to 8 reps there. Slow some of these down. Make sure that you can feel that contraction. They're controlled, right? Last movement are lateral hops. If you have a dumbbell or something like that that you can utilize to jump over, by all means do so. If not, that's fine. Just make sure we're traveling enough distance, a little imaginary line, something you have on your floor that you can use as a reference point, and we're just hopping side to side. Okay? If I'm not getting a lot of height, I'm going to be able to go a little faster here, right? If I grab a dumbbell or something along those lines that I have. Now, I'm probably going to go a little slower, but a little bit more height in the jump. Either one is fine for today. but we're going 30 seconds of that lateral hop one way or another. When we look at these movements, we can band the push-ups, okay? We can take a band. We like to recommend taking it, crossing it so it creates a little X, put it on like a backpack. Okay, so my elbows are through there. Now I can just extend my arms. It creates a nice X on my back, and it keeps that band in place so that I can do those banded push-ups. Certainly if you have a weight vest, you could use that. We look at our box hamstring curls, the hinge type movements that we have here. You can take a dumbbell or kettlebell or some sort of loaded element sandbag, put it across your hips for the box hamstring curls. You can bring it up into that front rack position for our sumo box squats. And then the hinge jump, we're gonna do just body weight, right? No need to load that up. Same thing with all the plank variations that we have. Let's just stick to body weight, and if you're looking for more difficulty in those, add a little bit of slow tempo and a lot of control to anything that's dynamic on that. That'll make them a little more challenging. We finish that up. If you go 16 minutes, you'll hit each movement 4 times. If you push to 20, you're gonna hit them 5. After we're done, 5 minutes in a static back position. So taking that bench, whatever it is that you use for your box hamstring curls and your box squats, and we're just gonna elevate the calves and the heels, laying down, big belly breath into big diaphragmatic breathing into our belly, expanding 360 degrees, eyes closed, trying to relax a little bit. Take those few minutes, take that moment for yourself. Don't skip this, include it. If you can extend it by an extra 5 or 10 minutes and integrate some mindfulness or meditation, even better. We definitely recommend that. Other than that, enjoy everyone, and we'll see you next time.